Hello and welcome to Clear Notion. In today's video, we're going to be addressing where emotions come from three specific angles: constructionist, evolutionary, and spiritual. So first off, this constructionist view of emotions is something that sociologists or neuroscientists normally take, and it's the idea that because these people have really looked into the mind to try and find emotional signatures, which would be something like every time anyone experiences anger, this happens in the mind. And what's happened is they have not found this. It has not happened yet. So these people have said, what is this experience of having an emotion and emotion? And what they've kind of agreed on with this constructed theory of emotions is that everyone experiences affect, which is kind of like this raw experiential experiences. Basically things that we can measure. States of arousal, the different chemicals that are in your mind, in your body, all of that. And so because affect is so fluid, it's never really the same and it's always moving around, that we have these labels, these concepts that society has all agreed on, that you can label the affect. And so that this experience of having labeled the affect, saying that I'm experiencing the emotion of desire or fear, that all of this is what happens when you experience an emotion. And so it's not negating emotions, but it's kind of reducing it to very, basically things that you can measure. And so this is the constructed view of emotions. And so then moving on, we have the Darwinian kind of evolutionary view of emotions, where it's saying that all of the emotions that aren't, socially constructed and completely ridiculous, because there are emotions in like little tribes where they experience an emotion where they run around as a pig for a day. Now, obviously that's socially constructed, and that's what I mean by that. So all of the emotions that are not that are specifically selected because they help us survive in some way. And so there are really two ways that they could help us survive. Evolutionarily, we have like this perpetuation of genes model, where you want to have your genes survive, and it's not even really about you. And of course, there's this whole argument for altruism, where because a certain percentage of your genes is in the group or your tribe or other people or your family, that a person may sacrifice themselves for the group, the tribe, the family, and still be, winning in this kind of perpetuating your genes sense. And then there's also this idea of perpetuating or surviving your ego, which is, of course, your identity or your beliefs. And, we see this with people dying for what they believe in, or really defending their identity as opposed to other identities. And that is really this more evolutionary Darwinian kind of way of looking at it. So then we have the spiritual way of looking at it, and this is kind of the way that I tend to lean, is that it doesn't negate emotions, but it reduces them down even further to energy. And so the reason that none of these people are agreeing or even can really see it as this in the spiritual way is because consciousness is not something that you can use the scientific method on and specifically pinpoint inside of physical reality. Really, you can't prove the scientific method, but consciousness is all you know. So it's kind of this funny little situation that's going on. But regardless, because consciousness is all there is, then it's basically built on energy. It is energy. So then there are these different levels of energy, these different vibrations that can occur, as I'm sure you're aware. And that emotions it kind of agrees with the constructionist view of reality that they're labels, all of them. But they're useful. The mind, where would we be without labels? We'd be in this sea of experience we wouldn't be able to make sense of. Now, then we use these labels to kind of label this levels of energy that are kind of fundamental to reality. They're literally baked into the fabric of reality. So basically we have the lower levels where it vibrates kind of slow, and we have all the egotistic emotions, going back to Darwinian evolutionary view of emotions. And then we have, our higher, more evolved emotions, courage, love, kind of things like that. And that is basically that idea of where emotions are coming from. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. There are more videos coming in the future. I have a lot to say about a lot of different things. Peace.